What's up, everybody? Welcome back to EVE Online, where we're about to start on, I don't know, we're just going to do some exploration. In my previous video, I set up my ship, which is outfitted like so. I've got a micro warp drive, I've got a cargo scanner, which is, personal preference. I've got a relic and a data analyzer. I've got nanofiber internal structures to make it so that I align and warp faster and get around generally faster. It takes me 3.27 seconds from full stop to enter warp, which is great. The fastest anything can target you is generally 2 seconds. So if you can get your align time and warp down to as close to 2 seconds as possible, then yeah, people won't even be able to target you to scramble you. Although you can still get caught in a bubble, but you could still get caught in a bubble if you were using warp core stabilizers instead of those. So, all right. So one thing I didn't mention is that once you've got a setup that you really like, and you're like, okay, yeah, this is manageable. Like I like how this is set up. I've got, I haven't spent a whole lot of money in total. This thing costs me almost 700K, and that's including money for the drones and some of the stuff that I already had, and like 450K for the ship itself. Which, anyway, so these things are pretty cheap. All things considered, everything on here is pretty cheap. If you like your setup, then you can go over here and you can say, I'd like to save this, and I'll rename it the Exploration Imicus. So I know what it is. So then if I save it, I just do this. When I look under this little tab here, I can see what fittings I've already saved. And if I click on it like so, it has the full 16 core scanner probes in the inventory. It's got all of this garbage here. Yeah, well, might as well save that. Because I don't need to hold on to... Oh, come on. Yeah, we'll remove that one there. There we go. All right, so now, in the future, when this ship gets destroyed, and I guarantee you it will, how did this go up? What the hell is going on here? 693, 773. I thought I removed these. Anyway, regardless, I can click this button right next to it here once I've sort of loaded up the fitting, and it'll allow me to buy it all. So if I fly myself as a, I don't know, as a pod, I can buy all of these things with one click. Once I've taken myself to JITA or one of the other big trading hubs, and it'll show me which ones are available and which ones aren't, and that's fine. And you can just click buy, and then load everything up, and you're good to go. So it's a good way if you expect that you're going to die to I don't know, set yourself up to save yourself some time. Now, one of the fortunate things is that when I chose to go and buy these nanofiber internal structures someplace else to save a little money, they took me into 0.5 space, which is the lowest high security space you can be in before people can just shoot you in front of the cops. Well, before people can attack you out in space away from the gates and not face many repercussions. So anyway, so that means that the things that I'm going to be scanning down, if I stay around 0.5 space, is going to be relatively lucrative. So let's just give it a try. This first little video here is going to be about scanning, and then I think the next one will be if we actually scan anything down. So because I'm at a station, I'm at a citadel, I'm inside their little protective thing, I'm tethered, also means that I will likely be repaired. Well, maybe not. Well, it looks like this thing could be attacked for the next 30 minutes. But if we look in local, yeah, there's like 20 people. Anyway, I won't waste too much time thinking about that. Alright, so open up the probe scanner, and launch our probes, and they are represented as you've seen here. Now, I generally prefer to use this sort of setup for my probes, and it looks like there's only one cosmic signature here. Now, I'll drag it over there, look at it on top, and there we go, and see it's somewhere in this sphere. So if I want to find it, I probably need to come on. Hold down Alt and drag it out until they're all a little bit bigger enough that they cover the entirety of that orb. And then press B for scan, and we're good to go. Now, let's see, we want to make sure, okay, anomalies are turned off from the scans because I mostly only wanted to find relic sites or data sites. And it looks like there's a combat site that is a Serpentis Den, and that's right here. I could go there, and that's a cosmic anomaly, but I don't care about anomalies. All right, so we only got to 8%. So we line ourselves back up on that, double click, try to center it a bit, hold down Alt. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. And we're just changing how big of a scan area I'm probing here. So I was at 8, now I'm at 2, and I think that's probably fine. We'll scan it down. Maybe nothing, may just be a wormhole. I'm not gonna get into a wormhole on this first little bout here, just because it's like step 3 or 4 or something. So all right, so it's moved a little bit still, so we're getting closer to it, and we can even just drag it down that way. All right. You know, let's just jump down to 0.5 and see if it's still within our range here. So it was at 18.3% previously. In order to identify it, it needs to be 25%. It may be that I just don't have the scan strength for this. And if that's the case, it's a wormhole. Okay, so that's fine. So I'm going to recall my probes, and I'm going to head to another area. Now, I may just sort of hop around willy-nilly, but I'd like to know, okay, where, like what I'm looking at here. So it looks like Oeleta. What is Oeleta? Color code this according to security status. That's fine. Okay, so that'll connect to low sec. So why don't we try there? And we will just warp there and jump. Now another way to do this, and what some people do, is they'll just pick an area and they'll set themselves a long destination or a long jump effectively, and they'll just jump from one to the next, scan in that area. If nothing comes up, they'll jump to the next one, they'll scan in that area, and it's a little bit more, you can just sort of meander around. It's a little bit better way to do it than one by one, you know, picking things out. So I probably should have gone to Skenins. Oh, that's 0.4. We don't want to go there. So I'm going to jump to Skenins.
Drive active.
And yeah. I will mute that so you don't have to hear that dinging. Now yep, so it gets rid of the, all right, there's one anomaly here. I'm just going to get myself moving. Generally, as a safety precaution, it's good not to just sit in one space. If you're by a gate, it's probably relatively safe if you're in high security space, since there's gate guns, there's Concord. So I may just hang out here. All right, so let's launch the probes. Do that there, and you can see that it just then immediately starts to reload from your inventory. So, all right, we probably need to have this at least 4. Gotta make it 8 to, come on. That is not aligned very well, and we'll scan. So step 1 is figuring out and getting comfortable with the whole scanning interface. So this is my scan strength, 58.2. You can see where I'm getting bonuses from. It's not great, but let's put that down to 2. I usually drop by 2 notches as, well, it looks like I dropped it to 4. I usually go by 2 notches. Like if I really narrow it down and my skills are good enough to isolate it to a point like that, then it's probably, you can go from 4 to 1 or 8 to 2 or whatever. Just jump 2 notches. So, all right, that's a wormhole, so I don't want that either. And let's just pick a gate at random.
Warp drive active.
Now, thankfully, if it is going to send me into low security space or someplace dangerous, it'll give me a warning and tell me. So we don't need to be too concerned. They changed this user interface quite a bit in the last big patch. So it's not too different, but it's sort of grouped everything together. So if I get my directional scanner, it throws it in the same window. Make that a full 360 scan. You can see it. See, now that's what my directional scan is doing, and it doesn't look like there's any signatures or anomalies there. So what the hell? Let's try that one.
Warp drive active.
And this is basically what exploration is. You go someplace, you scan, you don't find anything. You scan some more, you go someplace else. So you want to be paying attention, but don't feel like, yeah, you want to be paying attention. It's EVE Online. There are a lot of things that can kill you in this game, and you probably just want to be more careful than anything, especially when you're starting out. Alright, so we got 2 cosmic signatures here. We'll launch our probes, and one of them is there. And we gotta center it. There we go. And I'm doing directional scanning as well. Those are my scanner probes that I'm seeing in there. It looks like, alright, so this is another thing. Autothesian Lancers. They'll show up as red, and they are, but they won't attack you unless you attack them. If you attack them, you're in for a world of hurt. And I don't care if you're in a battleship or what, but I think. They're all just cruisers, but yeah, it's bad news. Alright, let's center ourselves on that again. So I'm going to bring up my people and places in case we find something that we're interested in and we want to bookmark. And we just click that, or we right click on it, and it'll show up here under personal locations. Okay, that's a little bit harder to scan down. So right now we're at 2 AU. And you notice my scan probes are gone now. But this thing shows up. Now, this is why I carried my salvager here, because you never know. Now, this is just on directional scan, and I'd have to... Okay, that's a combat site. That's a DED combat site, and I'm not going to worry about that. But what I will do is bring this back to... Well, 4 is reasonable. And I'll go scan down this other one here and see what comes out of that. So if I were able to very easily find this... Serpentis small wreck, I could go and salvage it and loot it. It's white. Nobody has laid a claim to it, so... Alright, so it could be here or here. Try to center that and put it at 2. Well, I'm just going to pick 1. And scan there. And then if it goes to 0, we'll know it's at the other point, right? So right now it's at 21.5%. It's showing me 2 potential locations for it, and it went to 97, so that's good. So and that's also a combat site. So I'm going to recall my drone. God, why do I keep calling them drones? And I'll warp off here.
Warp drive active.
So you notice this has a name. This is something that you can Google, by the way. If you're scanning down combat sites, you can Google Serpentis hideout, and it'll tell you almost exactly what is in it, what level ship you need to really be successful in taking it down. And these are the things that will lead to escalations. So as you kill them, there's a small percentage that you'll get an escalation, and then that's yet another site that you can go and clear out. So we're going to keep scanning here. I may need to break it if I don't find anything. At least for the moment. Oh, no, I don't want to go to low security space. No, sir. Or no, ma'am. Let's try this gate over here. It's a goodly ways away. I got to start making dinner here, but this was mostly just to give you a glimpse of scanning and sort of what this experience looks like. So you can zoom in and out, right-click, moves laterally and vertically around it in sort of a 2D plane. Double clicking with your left mouse button changes some vertically to like horizontally looking at it, and that's me moving, by the way. You can see my little directional scan bubble moving with me. And then if you left click and hold it down, you can sort of change the angle that you're looking at things. I suspect that this is also low security. Nope. Alright. So this will be our last attempt. If there's nothing here, then we'll just... okay, a couple more cosmic signatures. And we'll drop that out. Alright. It's a little faint, but you can see that red outline. There we go. Move it vertically, boom. There we go. So I don't see any wrecks here worth salvaging. It's at 8. Yeah, it's at 8. All right. We've got it sort of pointed down, and I'm going to drop it to 2 at that point. And hopefully I'll be able to nail it down. It's just me and 2 other people here in this thing. So local tells you a lot of information that is valuable. I'm in 0.8 security space, so I'm pretty safe. There's really not a lot. There's not a whole lot of trouble I can get into in this space, but at least in a noob ship like this, somebody may, they'd have to commit suicide in order to kill me, and doing so would not do anything for them. So, all right, so that's 4.1%. We'll try to get it a little bit closer, drop it to 1 AU. And you're going to run into things, especially as an alpha character with low scanning skills. You're going to run into things that you can't scan down. You're going to get it to like 40%, or in this case, embarrassingly 7%, and that's just the best that you're going to be able to do. And that's okay, because, you know, the more time you spend like trying to get the last, I don't know, 0.5% or something silly, the less time you have that you're doing something more productive, like actually finding a site that you can scan down. So, yeah, now we're at 15%. I'll put that back up there. I'm not going to be able to scan this down because this is the finest level of resolution I've got, and I don't think it's going to be enough. So some of the like sleeper sites and ghost sites are going to be really hard to scan down, and don't be discouraged. Okay, so this is a data site. It may still be a sleeper site, but I'm literally as tight on there as I can get, and I don't think I'm only at 33%. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm a skeptic, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah, all right. So the best we can do is about 60%. I would guess that it's a sleeper or a ghost site, but either way, we can't do it. We can't scan it down, so we're gonna go and try to scan the other one. And it's a good thing you saw that, because then now at least you know that, well, that's just the way it is sometimes. But this is what we're looking for: data sites, relic sites. Looks like there's another Imicus in here, and they're likely scanning down the same things I am. Hopefully they were able to scan down the other item, because I was not. And at least somebody will benefit from it, and it'll hopefully leave them to leave the things that I can scan down to me. Now, we're in relatively high security space, so the loot that we're going to get from this is going to be relatively minimal. But maybe it'll cover the costs that, oh, nope, it's a wormhole. All right, well, that's it. So this is scanning, and this is what exploration often looks like, is you just sort of hopping around, finding things that you can scan down, and then exploring. I'm going to dock up here, but this is step one in exploration. You just sort of get a feel for what the scanning interface looks like. Whoop, 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 hold on. I almost forgot to recover my probes. And that, my friends, is why, yeah, you can't recover them once you dock. So if I had not been able to click that in time, I would have to stop my ship, prevent myself from docking, and then recover them, and then it would be fine. So we'll pick up here in the future, and hopefully we'll find something that we can actually get into and like do something with, and then we can learn a little bit more about the complexities of hacking and analyzing. So thanks for watching. I know this wasn't terribly scintillating, but hopefully you learned something about just the overall scanning process and what this whole thing kind of looks like. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. If there's something that you saw that you were curious about, or if you had any questions, use the comments. Also, if you're looking to buy Plex or anything, or the game, feel free to use the links in the description below, as it helps me out a little bit. And otherwise, check out errantgamer.com and the Errant Gamer podcast. We're going to be doing our E3 predictions here soon. I know that if you're watching this any other time than shortly after I post it, it's going to be meaningless to you, but there you have it. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.